A lot of you have probably seen this video by now, in which the linear world heavyweight champion, Tyson Fury, claims that he once challenged the current unified world heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua, to a street fight. And according to him, Joshua was scared and he backed down and wasn't willing to go outside and trade blows on the roads. Now, this to me is just a character assassination by Tyson Fury. That's what he's attempting to do. He's attempting to make Anthony Joshua look cowardly and continue to just trash him, because that's all Tyson Fury's been doing for several years now, is just trashing Anthony Joshua every opportunity he gets. Is it true, though? That's the question a lot of people are asking. Did he really challenge Anthony Joshua to a street fight back in the days? The interviewer asked Tyson Fury, how much did you weigh? That's the first thing he says to Tyson Fury. Is this when you were out of shape? And Tyson Fury says, it doesn't matter what shape I was in. And that might imply that he was badly out of shape when he approached Anthony Joshua and said whatever he said to him and challenged him to a street fight. And the implication is that if he was way out of shape, Anthony Joshua ain't going to engage him in any kind of fight, because he's going to look bad, isn't he? Beating up a guy who's grossly overweight at the time and suffering with all kind of different problems, mental and physical at that time. It's not going to look good for Joshua to do that. In fact, imagine he'd beaten up Fury in that state and it'd hit the press. Can you imagine what the headlines would be? It wouldn't cast Anthony Joshua in a favorable light. But be that as it may, when people are asking, is this true? I don't know whether it's true or not. But what I can say is, it wouldn't surprise me if it was true. One, because of the scenario I've just described. And two, because Anthony Joshua is not a street guy anyway. Anthony Joshua is a professional boxer. He's not a street dude. He's not like a Dylan White, who is a former street dude. And he still has a street mentality. He's not like a Jarrell Miller. He's not like these guys, Joshua. Now, when I said this on Facebook, there was somebody who said to me, but hasn't Anthony Joshua got certain convictions? And yeah, he does have certain convictions, but how did he get those convictions? Where was he doing whatever he was doing when he picked up those convictions? He was doing it in Watford. So if you're involved in the streets of Watford, that's not really the streets, bro. You understand what I'm telling you? That's not really the streets. So being a street guy in Watford don't really make you a street guy. So Anthony Joshua is not really a street guy. He's a professional boxer. And it's not the first time that Anthony Joshua has been offered a street fight by certain people. Dylan White, when he was in the Klitschko camp with Anthony Joshua, Dylan White tried to get him outside and challenged Anthony Joshua to fight him outside of the ring, bare knuckle. And Anthony Joshua declined. He didn't want to go outside with Dylan White. And this is before they fought. I think maybe a year before they fought, something like that, or 6 months, whatever it was. A long time before they fought. Dylan White challenged him, come outside, let's fight. Joshua didn't want it. But the point is, it doesn't matter. Because when Anthony Joshua and Dylan White fought in a boxing ring with rules, okay, Anthony Joshua understood that Dylan White is a guy who comes from a kickboxing and MMA background. So he didn't want to tussle with a guy who can do more than just punch. You understand? But when they got in a boxing ring, you saw what happened. It was a very good fight, but ultimately Anthony Joshua was able to handle his business and take Dylan White out in 7 rounds. So just because a guy don't want to fight in the street, just because a guy maybe isn't as good a street fighter as his opponent, the only thing that matters ultimately is who's the better boxer in the ring. And that's the same situation here with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury can talk about all the stuff he wants outside the ring with Joshua, but ultimately it's not going to be a bare knuckle dust up if and when they do fight. It's going to be a professional boxing match with rules, with gloves, with a referee, with judges, so on and so forth. Tyson Fury comes from a gypsy background where he has famous bare knuckle boxers in his family going back many generations. And his dad, John Fury, is very proud of it. I'm sure Tyson's proud of it too. But his dad, John Fury, makes a very big deal out of it and makes out as though you have to have this kind of background to... Well, he doesn't make out that you have to have that kind of background, but he says having that kind of background gives you a big advantage over the opposition when you come from this bare knuckle background. But Tyson's uncle, Peter Fury, feels very different, because I've heard him say in interviews that all the bare knuckle stuff is all nonsense. If you're any good as a fighter, you'll do it in the ring. All these guys who are doing all this bare knuckle stuff, it's all nonsense. These are guys who are not good enough to do it in a boxing ring. That's why they have to do bare knuckle. This is what Peter Fury said. And bear in mind, Peter Fury comes from that same bare knuckle tradition. He himself was a bare knuckle fighter back in the days. So he knows all about both worlds. He knows all about the bare knuckle world and all about professional boxing. And as far as he's concerned, bare knuckle is all nonsense. That those guys who make themselves out to be so tough, they're all overrated. If they were that good, they'd be doing it in a professional ring and making loads of money out of it. And it's definitely true that the whole bare knuckle world and boxing are two different disciplines. Not everybody who is a good professional boxer would be good at bare knuckle, and vice versa. One of the things about bare knuckle, obviously, is your hands have got to be a lot tougher and you got to be a lot more careful with where you hit your opponent than you do when you got 10-ounce gloves on and professional wraps and all that kind of stuff. And obviously you're going to cut a lot easier and bruise a lot easier in a bare knuckle fight than you are in a professional fight. There's a whole heap of things to take into consideration. But bottom line is, what are we watching here, people? Do we care that much about bare knuckle, or do we care about a professional boxing match? Me personally, I care most about a professional boxing match, more so than bare knuckle. If I want to find out who a good street fighter would be, I go watch MMA, because MMA is closer to street fighting, because it's not just fists, right? You can grab people and knee and elbow and do all kinds of stuff in MMA, which you can't do in boxing. So if I want to go watch something closer to a street fight, I'll go watch MMA. Obviously, it's not completely like a street fight, because street fights don't have any rules at all. Sometimes anyway. I mean, if you meet up for one of these bare knuckle type fights that the gypsies have, they have straighteners, which are just straight bare knuckle fights, and they have all in, or battle royale as they call them, where anything goes. And in those kind of fights, you know, bad things happen. People can get badly injured in them fights. So they've got two types. But anyway, let me stop waffling on about bare knuckle fights. At the end of the day, we care most. That's why we're here on this channel. We care most about professional boxing. So all this stuff about Joshua backed down from a street fight, it don't mean anything. He backed down from a street fight against Dillian Whyte too. He still beat Dillian Whyte in the ring, right? It doesn't really matter. And just to finish it off, some of you guys may never have heard this interview here. I've heard it before. And this is actually, I think, a re-upload, because this was re-uploaded about 3 years ago. The original version, I think it had a different picture than this. But it's the same interview, and it's with Steve Bunce interviewing Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury admits that Anthony Joshua beat him up in sparring. And this is something that Tyson Fury doesn't bring up very often these days. And at the time when Tyson Fury sparred Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, I believe, was British champion, and Anthony Joshua was ABA champion. So this wasn't when Anthony Joshua was an international amateur, when he was in the World Championships and in the Olympics. This is way before that. This is when Anthony Joshua was barely above novice level as an amateur, and he just won the ABAs, okay? And Tyson Fury admitted that Joshua beat him up in sparring, and he was full of praise for Joshua at this point, when Tyson Fury was professional British champion and Joshua was just a novice amateur. Yeah. And he admitted Joshua beat him up in sparring. Obviously, they've both improved since then, but you don't hear Fury mentioning this anymore. Here, he was full of praises for him, but now that Joshua is a professional too, and he sees Joshua as a threat, he ain't praising him no more. All he's doing is just putting him down at every opportunity he gets. And look, you have to expect him to do that to some extent. You know, different fighters deal with their opposition in different ways. Tyson Fury tends to put them down. That's his method. Kind of like Muhammad Ali. When did Muhammad Ali compliment his opponents? Occasionally he did, but generally he would just put them down. Lennox Lewis was the same. Lewis would always talk down about his opponents and down about his rivals a lot of the time. Maybe not in as vulgar way as Tyson Fury or as condescending way as Muhammad Ali, but Lennox Lewis had a reputation for being a bit aloof and peering down his nose at people, including his opponents. So this is a mental approach which some fighters take, and that's the approach that Tyson Fury takes. But what's crucial for me is that Tyson Fury shows a willingness to actually fight Anthony Joshua, because all he's ever talking about is Joshua will never fight me and this, that, and the other. I don't believe that. I actually believe Anthony Joshua would fight Tyson Fury. I think Anthony Joshua has always been interested in fighting Tyson Fury. I don't think Anthony Joshua looks at Fury as being as dangerous for him as somebody like Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. I think he sees Tyson Fury as very tricky, very slick and crafty, but I don't think he looks at the Fury fight with warning signs ringing off in his head the way he might look at a Deontay Wilder fight. And I believe he wants to fight Wilder too, but I just personally think that his perception of Wilder is that he's dangerous because of that punching power and the explosive speed. Tyson Fury is a slick guy who's going to fiddle around and make it awkward for you. And again, look, I'm not saying it's impossible for Tyson Fury to knock Joshua out. I'm just talking about what I think Anthony Joshua's perception of Tyson Fury is. And I don't think Joshua's perception of Fury is that he's someone really dangerous who might knock me out. No, I don't think that's Joshua's perception. And so the point I'm making is I want to see the right kind of noises from Tyson Fury, particularly if he beats Deontay Wilder. I want to hear the right kind of noises from Fury. I don't want to hear him saying, oh, me and Joshua, the fight's never going to happen. He could have signed with Eddie Hearn with a view to making the Joshua fight. He could have signed a deal in which he had several fights against Matchroom fighters culminating in the Joshua fight. And if you can get through these guys, you get the Joshua fight guaranteed. He could have done that. He didn't do that. Okay, and hey, he felt like it wasn't the best decision for him. Cool. But if he beats Wilder, I want to hear positive noises from Tyson Fury about the Joshua fight. That's what I want to hear, because I want to see a unified heavyweight champion. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about everything I've talked about in this video. It's happening, I'm out. Some of you might be wondering why I decided to remove this video. Well, as you can see, I haven't yet removed it at the time of recording, what I'm recording now, but I'm going to remove this video. And the reason why is because of this. It's been flagged by the YouTube demonetization algorithm as not suitable for most advertisers. Now, some people are going to say, well, Hatman, it's only one video. Why are you going to remove one video because it's been demonetized? You're not going to make that much money off one video. And that's true. One video is not going to hurt that much, one video being demonetized. But the reason why I remove certain videos that get demonetized rather than requesting a manual review, because that's what I normally do. 99% of the time when I get a video demonetized, I just request a manual review, and 99% of the time, YouTube will re-monetize it within a day or two. But with certain videos, like this one, where I'm dealing with topics that are somewhat sensitive, there's a good chance that they will not re-monetize it after I request a review. And in that case, what I've found is that the YouTube demonetization algorithm, when it detects that you've got other demonetized videos on your channel, it starts becoming a lot more aggressive with your channel. And you end up with loads of videos demonetized, which shouldn't be demonetized. So then you have to go through the process of requesting reviews. And obviously during that time when you've got 20, 30, 40 videos demonetized, you're losing money. You understand what I'm saying? So rather than go through that, when I do end up doing a video which deals with topics that are even slightly controversial, if it gets demonetized, I just usually delete the video rather than go through all the hassle of the algorithm going crazy on my channel and flagging everything wrongly and having to request a manual review of everything. It's long. So yeah, I'm going to delete this video, and I need to be careful because when I made this video, I was thinking this video is going to get demonetized. That's what I was thinking in my head. But I thought, you know what? Let me just see. Let me have a go and see. Maybe the algorithm's not as aggressive as it used to be, but evidently it is. And it has flagged this video as I suspected it probably would when I made it. I was like, that's probably going to get flagged for, as not suitable for advertisers by the algorithm, and it has. So yeah, that's the reason that I've removed it, people. No other reason than that. Because as I say, one video being demonetized, no big deal. You're not going to lose that much money. But when you start getting 30, 40 videos mass, flagged by the algorithm, it's not a physical person that's flagging these videos. It's the algorithm, and like I say, when it starts getting on your channel and detected loads of other flagged videos, it goes ham. You end up with, 20, 30, 40 videos demonetized, and I don't want that. So yeah, that's why, people. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.